I'm gonna riff, and I got my hair, so it's a little bit of party in the front and regular at the back. So it's just like, what do you think about that? What if we actually just like combine work and play? Looks a little silly, eh? What do you think when you live outside of the box and you don't care what somebody might not like about you because you're being willing to be you fully? It's who you are. Well, let's take off the wigs that would make us pretend to be less than we are. Now let us feed ourselves with faith over fear, because if we are willing to see our self-image as the CELL-F, for whether we feel fear or faith in the cells of ourselves. Oh, don't you see that we are manifestations of the grand overall designer we all come from, regardless of whether you put the source of all that is, all not excluding anything, into a box and then say that's not the thing, that's all things. Do you see the hypocrisy or the lack of reasoning to say something is other than the whole when the whole is unlimited as our eyes, until an external authority tries to tie you to their rules under their jurisdiction? Don't you see that juris is of right or of law, diction being what spoke or wrote, and that then becomes the rules they have to follow because they subscribe to that box and will try to loop you in through joinders that make you think you are other than who you are, as the one standing here, as the woman I am, that you see in the interface between you and me. We have two accounts, yours and mine. Yours and mine are the ones that exchange energy on a platform that steals from the energy that's going through it to power it, and also think that we are connecting, and we are. So I wonder how you are and what you think. Oh, I know it's out of the box. I say we've got to take God out of the box, regardless of the words that we've used to describe the creator of all that is. If you look on this hierarchy, you will see that God is on top, and man or woman, the will of man underneath of him, HYM. And don't you see the him is actually the universe, the one song we all are playing our part in perfectly. But here's the thing, this is the private section of our lives, and then we drop into a standing to a status in the public. That's what government would make us do. Control our minds, govern, control, and mind. Mental, governmental body, the corporeal body is, and the individual is consumed by the body of the whole. You're just a cog in the wheel, they say. It can be thrown out, but if we actually look at the big picture, we would see that if all the cogs stopped, there would not be the ability for the machine to move forward, which is the bottom side of the corporations and the public sector. The government's the parent that has the biggest box, and then the ones underneath of that have more boxes and boxes, and we get them put into smaller and smaller spaces until we stop having the choice to use our free will. That is what we're fighting for right now. It is a direct attack on our self-respect and will to stand still, despite the resistance that we have gotten these first 2 years of the econ video game, when econ for your consciousness and conscience was sent, and you got to decide whether you would play along and take it in, or whether you would say instead, I'm gonna stand as a woman or man in my private capacity, with all common law rights reserved at all times. The unwritten law, I mean not the ones that were converted into legalese to make it so that common law with a hyphen, or English common law, or King's common law, or even natural law, all of those are bound by the terms that describe what it means to be in that court. I just say the unwritten law, the one that's unlimited. That's where I get my rights from, and so do you if you cling to and give them reasonable time to respond and say, no, you don't have that right, and then if they don't, you do. Don't you see it's true that you can stand as a woman or man and understand the public servants were created to serve you and me too, and we are also the ones that are in those positions, and the corporations too, plus the cops, courts, councils. They are the ones who are sworn to protect the law, which actually means the top corporation is where they get their mandates from. Mandates. Does he courtship turns to marriage, where the status changes, and that is what we in fact are going through, a change of status as a collective. Instead of seeing each other as men and women, we've been turned into people. We have been given a person and a status for all things. Are you in a relationship? Of course you are. The number one relationship you need to have is with yourself. You've got to be nice to yourself, because if you won't be, then who will? That's what we have got to say, is we understand that in the public sector we do not have the rights that we thought we do under the common law, which are a few, until they're limited by the boxes that define us. But what we can do is reference them for them to see that in your own writing these are the terms, and as I stand as a woman and not my person, I see the rights I have, and coercion is at foot, and I don't enjoy it. I have to decide what to do, because I was forced out of my position on the front lines last January. On the 15th was the last day I got to smile bright on the front lines behind the plexiglass as a cashier at Superstore, in the same location where I spoke out in the parking lot and got a summons. My person did, because they claimed I was not allowed to say what I did, because there's an individual failure to comply with the Reopening Ontario Act 2020. It was then 2021, which meant that was of no force and effect, and they have never verified the validity of invoking it anyway. But hey, who's to say they don't have that right? I asked them to claim so in writing, but I did not get any response to the 15 notices I've sent, or the claim I've made against the man who is standing as prosecutor. I mean statusing, because a prosecutor cannot stand. It's just a suit the man puts on. And so I'm going after the man I can see bully in me. I'll put this away, simply say Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well is also here. Self-actualization at the top is under respect, above belonging, and then safety, survival is the 5. And what we see going on is the emphasis on the lower 3 instead of the ones that start with respect and self-actualization into then self-realization. We get realized to see what's going on. What do you think of this? Let me know down below. I send you love and hope you have a great day. Laura J. Namaste. Namago. For now.